Hi guys. So this topic is kind of serious. There was a period in my life where I really had suicidal thoughts. So here's 5 things I learned from having gone through that experience. This week I'm doing a fundraiser for suicide prevention awareness. And so I was crafting a comedy set about my experience with having suicidal thoughts. Because believe it or not, I have been there. I know I seem very, very happy. People are like, you sound like SpongeBob SquarePants when you laugh. Yeah, well, it doesn't mean I live in a pineapple under the sea. You know what I mean? It was triggered when my partner passed away after 5 years of being with him. And I just could not imagine my life without him. And I struggled with this for months. And I went as far as to shop for a gun. I found a gun at a pawn shop for $300. Then I found a gun online for $75, and I thought to myself, wow, it's shocking someone could just buy a gun online for $75 when in person it's $300. What a ripoff! That's when I realized I was so cheap. I was bargain hunting for my suicide weapon, which is so silly because if there was ever a time to put something on a credit card, that would have been it. But here's the thing. I realized that on some level, I must have wanted to be alive because I was thinking about my financial future. And another thing that it reminded me of was that I gave a damn. Because, I was thinking about, God, if I killed myself with a gun, then it would make a real mess for someone to clean up and that would be unfair to them. So I'm so glad I stayed. And here's 5 things I learned from being in that situation. Number 5 is the fact that I'm really glad I stayed. At the time that Michael died, I really thought that there was no way that I could find happiness again. And since Michael died, I've had so many amazing experiences that I think I would have missed out on had I taken my own life at that time. I have friends that I had not met yet, food I had not tasted yet, places I had not been yet, and a book I had not written yet, and I have lovers I have not loved yet, lots of them. No, but really. And while losing Michael was so incredibly, incredibly hard, it didn't have to be the end for me. But when you're in pain, it feels like a zero-sum game. Like you just want to get out of the pain. So at that point, I started researching what pain was because I was in so much of it. And this is another important lesson I learned about pain. Number 4 is when you're in emotional pain, there are 2 mechanisms to it. Number 1 is the pain can feel like it's going to last forever. And number 2, pain makes you feel like you are always alone in it. And both of those are total illusions. It's not going to last forever and you're not alone in it. And in this society, there's shame around being in pain. If you're in pain, there's something wrong with you. So a lot of times when we're in pain, we just put a smiley face on and the pain just feels like it's never going to end. Pain comes and goes, but when you're in it, it can feel rough. But don't buy into the feeling that pain perpetuates. You are not alone in it, and there's nothing wrong with you for feeling the pain, okay? Number 3, I learned to try to make decisions when I'm not actively in pain. You know how some parents parent their kids like this? Like if the child is having a bad day, say at a swim meet, and, maybe the child came in last or lost their bikini bottom and embarrassed themselves in front of the team. Whatever happened, I don't know. Do people lose their bikini bottoms in swim meets? Anyway, whatever. Anyway, some parents create a rule for their kid. Like, you can quit, but not when you're quitting because you're having a bad day. Because when we're in pain, we're in reaction to the pain and we're not taking the action that we want to take because we want to move forward in that direction. For example, you may want to eat creme brulee, but when you're really hungry and you're feeling that pain of hunger, do you think you're actually going to wait for the creme brulee to arrive on Uber Eats? No. You'll have a nasty burger that's sitting right in front of you because you just want to feel better to kill the pain, to feel better from the pain. Okay? So it's a good thing to remember that. When you're in pain, you're not really making a decision from what you want. You're making a decision in reaction to alleviating that pain. Okay? It's a good thing to make a decision from a place of non-desperation. And if you're in pain, I get it. It can be tough. But you really do want to make a decision based on what you want, not what you want to be out of, okay? Number 2, it is possible to be happy again. I really did not think that I could be happy again without Michael. I really did not. And for a few months there, I tried to fix it by overworking, overeating, oversexing, overdoing drugs, anything, because I actually did not think that I could get happiness without some kind of action, all right? What I have found from this perspective 3 years later is that joy is possible. We do heal. And while I miss him and there is a new equilibrium, there is life that's worth it. And life can be bearable, even wonderful. So if you're going through a dark moment, it can be something to consider that you could be okay one day. And I'm speaking from experience. And number one thing is you're not alone in this. I think the number one thing to know when you're feeling like you might want to end it is to know you're not alone in this, truly. There are so many others who have felt the way you do, who have felt the way I do, who are currently struggling the way you are, and there's nothing wrong with us. There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. And feeling like you're alone in your pain is the biggest lie that your pain will tell you. Your pain tries to convince you of it. If you get anything from this at all, I hope that you can know there's nothing at all wrong with you. Understanding this for me was huge. I wasn't broken, and that felt like a relief. I wasn't unfixable. That felt like a relief. I wasn't crazy. That felt like a relief. I was human, like a lot of people, and a lot of people go through this. And going through something that a lot of people share, in my experience, gave me the hope to feel like I was part of a collective and that I could create my own experience in the future. So I hope that this post helped you. And I hope that you will check out The Lost Library. That is who I'm doing the show with. And I hope that if you are in pain, that you will consider some of these things that I had mentioned. So thank you so much. And I will see you next week. Bye.